What would you say are some of the most interesting virtual reality projects at the moment?
I would certainly say as a result of COVID and as a result of people not having any other alternative but virtual or augmented reality, edtech, educational technologies, by and large, probably closely followed by medtech, medical technologies, and health technologies, where I think we're going to see absolutely dramatic improvements, massive funding also as a result of COVID going into these spaces, including government funding. Obviously, if the kids can't go to school, we all have a problem, right? As parents, as educators, as politicians, as central governments. And to the same token, in the health space, we're seeing the health space being massively disrupted by all sorts of new technologies, platforms, apps, etc., that allow us to measure anything from blood sugar control to heart rates. Some of them are the fringe of health tech and fitness tech, because most fitness trackers also allow you to measure instantaneously, live, 24/7, certain health values. Those are definitely on the forefront of being massively disrupted by AR/VR. Last but not least, I'd say culture, museums being closed, movie theaters being closed in most countries. You will see companies like Netflix coming out with a massively disruptive way of engaging in entertainment type of content. We're very much at the cusp of thinning the line and maybe even deleting the line between reality and fiction, which raises a number of ethical issues. The human brain not knowing not knowing the difference between reality and fiction. So, for example, if someone comes in and holds a gun to Tom's head right now and has a helmet on and says he'll blow your brain out, obviously your adrenaline is going to jump. All of a sudden he takes the helmet off. It's one of your best buddies. He says, "Look, there were no cartridges in my gun. This was a bad joke. I apologize." Your reaction wasn't any different as a human being, right? Everything was real for you. So, I mean, our brains are hardwired for anything, and the line between reality and fiction is quickly blurring. The reason why we can watch the same actor in a movie represent multiple characters across different movies and still believe in the storyline and not take a step back and say, in hindsight, this can't be right because Matt Damon was playing this guy last week or yesterday. Now he's playing this guy. He's a priest today. He's the killer the next day, right? Our brains don't work like that. We get drawn in and we tend to forget. We tend to blur those lines. Now imagine one step forward, once Netflix delivers to you a fully immersive experience where you yourself can become a character in the plot. And that plot evolves as you go. There is no longer a script, a scenario being written out, but it will evolve depending on how you interact with certain characters and you become part of that plot. We're very, very close. What I'm talking about today already exists in the lab, has already been developed. It's just not mainstream yet. What I'm saying is that basically every industry known to mankind that is currently flat is about to be revolutionized by AR/VR. Some very early iterations that I personally worked with can give you one concrete example. We took a linear flat book with dinosaurs. Kids tend to be somewhat fascinated by dinosaurs, myself included when I was younger. And we showed it to a little girl called Amy. Amy went through the book. She was somewhat interested in the dinosaurs. Oh, this is a nice one, like the color, et cetera, et cetera. Now, scratch the book, bring out the iPad, and now we give her an augmented reality version of the same book with the Triceratops jumping out of the screen. And say, "Hi, Amy, I'm Triceratops. Let me tell you a little bit more about myself." Whoa. I mean, this little girl, given the two options, will never touch the flat book again, right? The engagement rate that you see with anything that is augmented versus anything that is flat, it's like going from a megaphone to digital audio to iTunes, right? It's even more so, right? The dramatic engagement rates, certainly also one of the ways, a lot of studies coming out about that, about helping resolve ADD in the school system, attention deficit disorder, where kids, because they are so accustomed to being engaged in different sorts of media. That's the reason why they're glued to a screen, right? This will take this one step further for good and bad. But as we all know, technology is a double-edged sword. It can kill the world and it can save it. It's all about us, how we use it. Heavy doses of AI that come into play, right? So if you're looking at these kind of technologies, they will all merge. So you have AI merging with AR, VR, 5G, ubiquitous broadband, right? And becoming one fully immersive world versus being separate technologies.